Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to be diving into a really powerful concept from our source material. We're looking at why hitting absolute rock bottom might actually be the exact perfect place to start building your future. It sounds a little crazy, right? But let's just dive right in.
Look, it is completely natural to look around and ask yourself, why is my life so hard? I mean, when you fail your exams, or you lose a job, run out of money, or even just feel totally ignored by your friends, it makes total sense to wonder why you're failing. You look around, you see other people smiling, they're moving forward, and you just start to think, maybe I'm just not good enough. The family pressure starts increasing, the stress builds up, and suddenly you just feel entirely stuck.
And slowly, those negative thoughts can completely take over your mind. But there's this core truth we really need to pull from the findings today, and it's this. One bad moment absolutely does not mean you have a bad life. Your story isn't over just because you're going through a really tough time today. One failure doesn't mean your entire journey is finished. The research actually shows us that almost every single successful person in the world has failed, and failed badly at some point. So no matter what problem you are facing right now, there is a way forward.
Think about a student who studies for months. They sacrifice their sleep, they're dreaming of making their parents proud, and then the results come out and they fail. After something like that, you might feel totally broken. You feel embarrassed. You might literally just want to hide from everyone. But it's actually really fascinating to reframe our definition of a winner based on these insights. A winner is not someone who never fails. Actually, scratch that. A winner is simply someone who never stops trying.
So you really have to ask yourself, is failing one single test actually bigger than your whole future? Absolutely not. Failure is not the end of your life. Failure is just a lesson. It's really just a signal flashing, showing you that you need a new strategy, maybe some more practice, or just better focus. If you failed today, well, you try again tomorrow. You study harder and you learn from those mistakes. And this concept builds directly into the working world, too. Imagine someone who has no job and no money. Every single morning, they wake up worried because those bills just keep increasing. But having no job today doesn't mean you're going to stay poor forever. The common thread among people who bounce back is that they don't sit around waiting for a giant, magical opportunity. They start small, and they start right now. You could sell items online. You could start freelancing, maybe create videos, open a simple food or tea stall, or even learn a new skill like graphic design. A tiny step forward is still progress. Let's look at a real-world case study of this in action. Take the story of the tea seller. Here was a young guy who couldn't get a traditional job. He was getting rejected by every single company. But his very first step to success, he simply stopped waiting. Next, he borrowed a little bit of money and he started a small tea stall. And honestly, the most important step here was that he completely ignored the friends who were laughing at him for selling tea after getting a formal education. He chose action over excuses, he improved his quality every single day, and he eventually grew that tiny stall into a massive, multi-branch cafe. And guess what? The people who laughed at him ended up deeply respecting his huge success.
Now, that story really highlights one of the biggest reasons people fail in the first place, which is the fear of what other people think. But the honest truth, people are going to talk no matter what you do. You cannot let the fear of judgment stop you. Think about it. If you try something new, people will talk. If you fail, yep, they're going to talk. And if you succeed, they will still talk. Society is always going to have something to say, so you just can't let their opinions control your choices.
Because ultimately, your life belongs to you. It doesn't belong to society, and it definitely doesn't belong to the people who never supported you in the first place. One of the absolute clearest takeaways here is that we have to stop living for the opinions of others. You've got to put all your energy back into your own goals. At the end of the day, your future depends entirely on your own actions, not on external opinions.
Sometimes, though, life tests you in very, very hard ways. You lose money, you miss out on big opportunities, or you just completely lose your confidence. And when that happens, you might feel like you're literally being targeted. It leaves you wondering, why is this happening to me? But consider a slightly different perspective for a second. What if life is actually preparing you for something much, much bigger? Think about the journey of dark coal. It only transforms into a brilliant, beautiful diamond because of the intense pressure it gets put under. And you know what? Human beings operate exactly the same way. We only become truly strong by going through extreme difficulties. Pressure creates strength. The strongest people you will ever meet are usually the ones who have suffered the most.
A comfortable, easy life rarely teaches you powerful lessons. Hard times, on the other hand, they teach us patience, they teach discipline, and they teach survival. Because of this, it actually really helps to embrace your struggles. These difficult, painful moments are the exact tools that are building your future strength and resilience.
We can learn so much from another real-life example from our sources. Let's talk about the failed student. This person failed an important exam 2 times. He literally had to watch his friends move forward, get their admissions, and leave him behind while relatives openly mocked him. But then, he made a choice. He decided to fight instead of cry. He changed his entire routine, stopped wasting his time, and just studied daily. And finally, he passed on his 3rd try and went on to have a highly successful career. Imagine for a second if he had quit after that 2nd failure. He won purely because he refused to surrender.
All of this proves one absolutely crucial point. Your biggest enemy is not failure. Your biggest enemy is negative thinking. When the problems start rolling in, it's not the failure itself that destroys you. It's that internal voice in your head repeating that you're useless and that your life is finished. That voice is far more dangerous than any failed test or lost job could ever be.
And this brings us to a really clear choice. Consider the difference between thinking, my life is finished, versus thinking, I will try again and improve. Your mind is an incredibly powerful tool, and it believes whatever you repeat to it every single day. If you feed it negativity, you become weak. But if you promise yourself that you'll survive, that you'll try again and improve, your whole mindset changes. And as the source material consistently shows us, mindset changes absolutely everything. Strong people deliberately train their minds to stay strong.
But please remember, success doesn't just arrive in one day. The real journey takes time. It usually starts on day 1 with just pure pain. Then month 1, well, that requires a lot of sacrifice. Year 1 requires really strict discipline, and by year 2, guess what? You're still going to face many failures. It takes a long, hard journey of pushing through all of this before you ever reach year 5, which is success. It takes time, patience, and a total refusal to quit. So remember this core message today: your story is not over. Honestly, this is just the beginning. If you failed, try again. If you lost money, go out and earn it again. If people rejected you, improve yourself. Because the person who cries alone at night today can become the exact person who inspires others tomorrow. Some of the very best chapters of your entire life are still waiting for you.
We're going to end our explainer today on this final, really powerful thought from the text. Difficult times do not last forever, but strong people do. Remember that your family, your dreams, and your future need you to stand back up. You literally cannot quit now. So I want to leave you with this one question. How will you use today's struggle to become the strong person you are meant to be? Thanks so much for exploring this topic with me, and keep moving forward.